What if the very encryption that protects our bank accounts, our national secrets, our private messages, literally everything, could just be shattered? Not in thousands of years, but in an afternoon?
Well, this isn't some sci-fi plot. It's the reality we are staring down the barrel of, and it's all because of a completely new way of looking at computation. This is the wild world of quantum computing.
But to really get why we even need quantum computers, we have to start with a big problem. A huge failure of even our very best classical machines.
See, the computers we use every day, they speak in bits. They're either a definite 0 or a 1. Simple. But the universe, at its most fundamental level, it just doesn't work that way. If you want to simulate a quantum system with, say, n particles, a classical computer needs to track 2 to the power of n variables. And that number, it just explodes so fast that simulating even a simple molecule becomes totally impossible for the most powerful supercomputers on the planet.
And this is where the legendary physicist Richard Feynman comes in. He had this brilliant insight. The problem wasn't our engineering, it was our whole approach. His idea was kind of simple but completely revolutionary. To simulate a quantum system, you don't build a better classical computer. You need a new kind of machine altogether, one that plays by the same quantum rules as nature itself.
And Feynman's idea? It lit a fuse. It just sparked this theoretical fire. In 1980, Paul Benioff proved, okay, this is physically possible. Then in 1985, David Deutsch defined the universal quantum computer, showing it could be a real general-purpose tool. And then came the bombshell. In 1994, Peter Shor dropped his algorithm, the killer app that could break modern encryption. And just like that, this whole field went from an academic curiosity to a matter of global security.
So that theory set the stage for where we are today, a sprawling, super competitive landscape of actual physical hardware. So welcome to what I like to call the quantum zoo.
Okay, so what's the magic sauce in these machines? First up is the qubit. Unlike a classical bit, which has to be either a 0 times or a 1, a qubit uses this thing called superposition to be in a combination of 0 and 1 at the exact same time. That's where the exponential power starts. It just opens up this massive new space for computation.
But that's only half the story. The other ingredient is, well, it's just plain weird. It's called entanglement. Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance. And for good reason. When you entangle qubits, they become linked. They act as one system. If you measure one, you instantly know the state of the other, even if they're miles apart. This bizarre connection is what lets you do these incredibly complex, coordinated calculations that are just impossible in the classical world.
But, and this is a huge but, all of this incredible quantum power is unbelievably fragile. I mean, the slightest vibration, a stray bit of heat, any tiny interaction with the outside world, what physicists just call noise, can make the whole quantum state collapse and your calculation just fails. The entire field today is basically this constant, relentless war against noise.
And this war has led to this amazing explosion of different ways to build a quantum computer. You've got the speed demons like IBM and Google using superconducting circuits. They're fast but a little sloppy, kind of error-prone. Then you have the precision artists like Quantinuum and IonQ using trapped ions. They're much slower, but incredibly accurate. You've got other teams chasing room temperature machines using light with photonics, and even Microsoft's crazy moonshot, a topological qubit that might be naturally immune to noise. There's no clear winner. It's a whole zoo of different approaches, each with its own trade-offs.
And all this competition really highlights the big debate in the industry right now. Are we waiting for the cathedral, this one perfect, flawless quantum computer that might be decades away? Or should we be working with the bazaar, this messy, vibrant, fragmented marketplace of noisy but still useful machines that we have today?
The answer to that question, it turns out, is leading to a really profound shift in how we think about the future of computing. It's not about replacement. It's a revolution in specialization.
And let's start with the most urgent piece of this puzzle. Remember Peter Shor's algorithm? Well, its first big application isn't about building something new. It's about breaking something old. This is what we call the Shor singularity.
The threat isn't some far-off Q day when everything breaks at once. No, it's happening right now with a strategy called harvest now, decrypt later. Basically, adversaries are just downloading and storing tons of encrypted data today and just waiting. They're waiting for the day they have a quantum computer powerful enough to crack it all open. So think about that. Any data that needs to stay secret for the next 10 or 15 years, it's already vulnerable.
Now, this isn't just a theory, it has triggered a massive global response. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NISQ, ran this huge competition to create new encryption standards that are quantum-proof. The algorithms you see here are the winners, and they're being rolled out right now. This is a multi-billion-dollar migration, and it's really the first major economic impact of the quantum era.
So, this brings us to the single most important idea of this whole explainer. Quantum computers are not going to replace your laptop. That's not the future. The future is as a deeply integrated, specialized coprocessor, working right alongside our classical computers to solve very specific, very hard problems that they just can't handle alone.
And we are already seeing this coprocessor future in action. Take this number, 80%. What does that even represent?
Well, it represents the time saved by Pattison Food Group, a huge Canadian retailer. They had this logistical nightmare of scheduling all their delivery drivers. It took a team 80 hours a week to figure it out, so they hooked into a D-Wave quantum annealer, using it as an optimization coprocessor, and they cut that time down to just 15 hours. That's an 80% reduction. This is a real quantum application, in production, delivering business value every single day.
And it's not just a one-off. Biogen is using quantum to get deeper insights to accelerate drug discovery. JP Morgan Chase is using it for portfolio optimization and even building quantum-secured networks. Giants like BASF are using hybrid quantum solvers for manufacturing and finding they're competitive with, and sometimes even faster than, the best classical tools. The hybrid coprocessor future, it's already here.
So, with all that said, what does this mean for you or for your company? How do you actually get ready for this coprocessor revolution?
Well, here's a pretty simple 4-step game plan. First, identify. Find the problems in your world, those complex simulations or optimizations that are just stuck, hitting a wall with classical computers. Second, educate. Get your domain experts, your chemists, your financial analysts, up to speed on the basic concepts. They don't need to be quantum physicists, they just need to speak the language. Third, experiment. Use the cloud to run low-cost pilot projects. Just get your hands dirty and build some real-world knowledge. And fourth, and honestly, this is the most urgent one, secure. Start planning your migration to post-quantum cryptography now. It is the single biggest, no-regret move you can make.
So let's bring it all home. The path forward isn't about sitting around and waiting for that one perfect, all-powerful quantum cathedral to be built. No, the real action right now and for the foreseeable future is in that bustling bazaar, this amazing ecosystem of specialized, sometimes noisy, but incredibly useful quantum coprocessors that are being woven into our classical computing world.
This isn't a replacement, it's an augmentation. It's like we're plugging a powerful new type of accelerator into our global computational engine. Which really brings us to the final question. Is your industry ready for the coprocessor revolution?